Today we are going to see about HTML UI design. So in HTML UI design, it is a process of creating the visual layout, structure, and interactive component of a web page using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. While designing a tool like Figma or use it to plan the interfaces, HTML acts as a structural blueprint that renders the layout directly in a web browser. So an interface cannot function on HTML alone. So it requires some core front-end technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML designs the content structure and elements. For example, we have text, buttons, input field, and etc. Then in CSS, it controls the visual presentation. Example, color of an button or color of an tags or layouts or typography and spacings. So these things are done using the CSS, and JavaScript adds dynamic behavior, logics, and component interactivity. So the flow of the functions. For example, if we are submitting a button, if you are clicking a submit button after entering the student details, so what it will do means the JavaScript will get all the values from username, email ID, phone number, and address. Like that, it will get the values and it will be saved in the backend. So it will process and it will send the data with the required fields. So core HTML layout elements are the modern UI relies on static HTML tags to build structural components. So these tags organize layouts into local machine readable codes. For example, we have these some of the tags as an example. We have head tag which contains logo, title, and primary word branding. So these and all it will be placed in a header tag. So next one is the nav tag. So nav tag for linking different pages, navigation links, and menu options. Main tag encompasses the dominant, unique content of the individual page. And the section, it will group together closely related topics or standalone features. Aside tag identifies sidebars, callout boxes, or auxiliary contextual pieces. Then footer tag will have the copyrights terms and secondary link at the page of the bottom. At the bottom of the page, it will be present at the bottom of the page. So it will contain the copyright links or some other company informations and the links will be applied over there. Next, the essential structure tag. So every web page requires these baseline components to establish document architecture and metadata. Example, in a HTML file, we'll have the document HTML tag declares modern HTML5 compiler. So HTML act as the main structural tool enclosing all the web page content. So whatever given uh, design in a page, it will be given inside the HTML tag. Another tag is head. So head tag will contain stores backend metadata and page configuration and also some of the jQuery links which will be applied and it will be used later and linked assets so which are given inside the head tag. Next one, title, which renders the document name inside the browser browser's upper tag. So within in a browser, we are having the title tag. The title under title, whatever we are giving as a title, it will be applied to the upper tag. Then body. So body will contain all the entire content after the title and before footer. So houses the actual readable text and graphic media on the screen. Next one, content and layout tag. So these manage layout patterns, lists, headers, and external assert tags. So example, we have H1 to H6 tags. So it establishes clear heading ranking from maximum importance down to minimum. So if we are creating some page content, so the header will have H1, H2 tags. So it will be somewhat bigger when we compare to the content of the title. So next one is paragraph tag, which formats text element clearly into standard paragraph blocks. Then last one is A tag, standard anchor tag mapping the hyperlink to its primary href element. So inside the anchor tag, whatever we will give a link. So if we click that link, it will be goes to some other, it will map to the some other page. Next, image tag directly loads into layout using explicit path configured inside the source property. So whatever source we are giving inside the image tag, it will uh, take and it will be displayed in the web page. Then UL and unordered and ordered list. So building structure container listings using bullets or numerical points ordered via sub-nested li lines. So inside UI and OL, we have an li tab, list tag. So it will create the number of elements inside the UL and OL. Next one, break generates instant line break without adding unnecessary block paragraph margins. So if we are giving a break tag after any of the HTML tag, it will give a break. So the one line break for each and every tags where we are giving. So complete document example we have here. You can combine the structural element into a single file to build a standard page layout. So here we have uh, starting tag will be document type. So type of the document, HTML document will be displayed and inside that what language it is in English. And under the head tag, we have to give title and linking links will be given here. So, so next we are displaying the structural list with an H2 tag key web components. So inside the unordered list, we are giving HTML for layout structure as an L1, L2, L3. We are giving it as an unordered list. And in second, we are horizontal line break separating these sections. So embedding an image. So here we are using visual assets. So visual assets is nothing but we are placing an image tag and we are giving some source image to that image tag. So which will be displayed in the web browser. Next, HTML heading. So these are defined with the H1 to H6 tags. So H1 defines the most important heading and H6 defines the least important heading. So for example, inside we have to create an H1 tag. In this H1 tag, we can give whatever headings we are, which is suitable for a paragraph. Next one is paragraph tag. HTML paragraph are defined within p tag. So inside the inside p tag we can give any of the paragraphs. Next, HTML links are defined with the a tag. So inside a tag we have href. So inside href we can contain the links. Then HTML image. So these are defined with an image tag. So inside the image tag, we will have a source, alternative text, width, height are provided as attributes. So here we have the image tag, source cat.jpg. So we have to represent, we have to show the cat image, and alternate text will be catswall.com. Then width will be 104 and height will be 142. So based on this width and height, it will show the image height and. Next one, HTML form elements. So form elements are used to collect users input. Like users input is most often sent to the server for processing. For for example, one of the most used for element in the input element. So the input element can be displayed in several ways, depending upon the type attribute. So the label, we have a label tag, input tag, and so on. So the label tag, which is used to, for example, here we are displaying the first name. So label, it acts as simply just showing the element name. So here for first name, we are creating a label and input. So label will be displayed in the web browser. So first name it will be displayed, and for that we are giving the input value. So it will be get from the user. So after that uh, it will be displayed sent to the backend. So the label element defines a label for several form of elements. So we can create in this way we can create for the username, user secondary name, phone number, mobile address, so on. So another form of element is the select element. The select element defines drop-down list. So inside that drop-down list, we can select any one of the options. For example, we can choose a car. We are displaying choose a car, and using select element, we are giving Volvo, Saab, Fiat, Audi. So based on these select option, it will give the list of elements in the browser. So we can select any one of the costs. Next, text area element. So these element defines a multi-line input field. So it will be used for any message or feedback information will be get using text areas. Like that, we can use this text area. Then button element. Button element we use it to uh, process any information. Within a form, we can have a OK button, submit button, cancel button, like that, various types of button functionalities in use. So one of the thing is while clicking here, we have the on tools option for a button. So while clicking a button, it will be showing it will process the function and it will show click me as an output. So next one is the field set and legend element. The field set element is used to group related data in a form. Next one, legend element defines a caption for the field elements. So grouping from data with field sets. So the element used to group related data in a form, and the legend element defines a caption for the field set element. For example, for person, it will be getting first name and last name. So these both the things will be used by the person itself. So it will be aligned inside person. So data list element specifies a list of predefined options for the input element. User will select a drop-down list or a predefined option as they input data. So the list attribute of an input element must refer to the ID attribute of the data list element. For example, here the data list element specifies a list of predefined options for an input element. So here in this predefined data list, we have Edge, Firefox, Chrome, Opera, and Safari. So web browsers. For selecting a web browsers, we are giving a predefined list. So by clicking this, any one of the options, and if we submit it, it will be executed in that browsers. Next one for form used to create student details like enter your full name, email ID, password, and confirm password, enter your gender, date of birth, and your address. So for collecting and student information, these some of these elements are required, and after by clicking the submit, it will be validating the fields and also it will send the data to the backend. Thank you, everyone.